all this stuff.
Get rid of
Hey
all those
guys!
tabs.
Yeah, I gotta get rid of these tabs.
Hello. Hope everybody's staying warm
Yes.
while we are actually looking at snow coming down right now. So
It's so gross. We woke up to like what, 4 inches, 5
Yeah.
inches? And now
But
the
it melted.
snow's gone, but
Yeah.
it keeps snowing on and off. Which means I had to cover up everything. I mostly covered up like peonies and things that I knew weren't ready to bloom yet, but were going to. So like daffodils and tulips, I'm like, you guys are at the end of your season anyway. So I just I let them go. So how's the weather where all of you are at? Because here it feels quite miserable.
Yep.
It's very deceptive because like there's a lot of green and a lot of flowers, but then there was like snow on all of it this morning.
Yeah, and of course we're trying to cover up everything to keep it from getting
So I like
hit,
took out all of our dirty towels, which I was like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't do laundry for once. And like was covering everything like crazy yesterday.
Oh man, we got Bomber Steve in from Australia.
Hey Bomber Steve, how are you?
Do you guys ever get snow down there where you're at?
Probably not.
Yeah, because you said I think the
Probably
desert
not.
was
You
the
guys-
climate,
yeah, you
or
guys
the
have
climate was the desert.
everything.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
So
Hello, our wood chip garden, Morgan. I'm guessing we're gonna call you Morgan. If that's cool with you. Yes, Wednesday night, Old Reading.
no.
Your guys' emu chicks are so cute. Like so cute.
And your dogs are cracking me up too. I can hear
Mark's
bark.
like, what's happening over there? I'm like, oh, it's just my dogs. Hello, Tina Ladybug. How are you?
Oh, look, Morgan said it feels awesome in Western Washington. So hopefully that's going to swing across the country and hit us. Although, being honest, it looks like it's going to warm up the next few days. So I think it definitely snapped Ashley's streak of wanting a garden, seeing snow this morning.
I was really glad that I didn't plant things because I was really chomping at the bit. And I've gotten burned so many times. Even when I cover things up, it's like it'll still die.
Yeah.
Hey Joe, can you let the little dog in?
Oh, hey Isaac.
Hey Isaac.
What did he say?
Still a bit chilly. I know Isaac. Oh, this is in the house, and look at all these people popping in. Hello,
yeah, Patty. I hope you feel better. I hate to hear you have a migraine going on. I know those are no fun. Let's see. Isaac said today it was snowing so much could barely see outside. Now it doesn't even look like it's snowed.
Same here. But Honey's mom, I tagged your mom in the pictures on Facebook. But Honey's damn Willow kidded today, and her udder is like. So I'm excited to see like what Honey does for you, udder development wise.
I've got Adrian.
Hello, Adrian.
Glad you stopped by.
Yes, we're always glad for you to come in and say hello.
Let's see. Bomber Steve said.
You don't like Target anymore?
We are a bit heartbroken today. We had to put one of our most precious and beautiful French bulldogs to sleep yesterday. She had inoperable cancer. It's still raw, but we'll get there. That's
tough.
Heartbreaking to hear.
That's really,
that is always a hard thing to go
It's never
through.
a good decision to have to make. I know we had to make it with our Australian Shepherd, but like 3 years ago, and I can still I can see all of it in my head. Like it's still very, very fresh.
But there is some, I think, peace knowing that you didn't let them suffer because ours was that she went down really fast. It was like a snap decision really to make on it because we were originally going to try to treat it.
She had like bumps that popped up all over her underside, and I had suspected cancer, and they did a biopsy. And they're like, and we were going to come back in like later the next week to see what treatment options we had, and by then I'm like. She has deteriorated so far. Like she cannot walk. She does not eat. She
was always attached to Ashley's side, so
it just drove her nuts. And she would just scream. And it broke my heart because like I want you to come with me too, but you can't.
Sorry, Darren said Magpul for the win. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited they released a new product this week, so I figured I'd wear it.
Yeah, he's always got to wear a swag, but he's got.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Steve.
Yeah, that's definitely hard. Hopefully, you have a couple other dogs that help.
Yeah.
Give you a little bit of comfort. Yeah.
I swore like and that's the only reason we didn't get another Aussie because like I love Australian. Now we have a miniature Australian Shepherd who is total butt white.
Well, the personality is so different. Like he's like honestly more like a cat. Like he likes to dig up moles and play with them and tiny animals, even the chicks. Like he wants to play with them. Like,
he doesn't want to play with them. He wants to eat them.
So he's got more of a cat. Like
he's very spiteful like a cat would be.
When our cat couch had a flat spot on the top, he'd lay up there and look out the windows like a cat would. He's constantly cleaning himself too.
He's annoying. I love him. But I'm very sorry to hear that.
Oh, Pathways Homestead
Hello,
from Kansas.
Pathways. How are you? How's the weather there? Did you guys get snow too?
Yeah. Hopefully it's cleared out there, so it's coming. Better weather's coming our way. So
we'll catch you next time, Patty. Thanks so much for stopping and saying
we
howdy.
got Emma here tonight.
Hello, Emma. How are you? You'd be so proud of us.
What can I say?
Tell them.
So Ashley had gotten some churro yogurt. And I was like, I wonder how hard it is to make churros. And it actually wasn't bad, so we went ahead and made some tonight. And Josie helped me, and they turned out well.
Yeah. So Mark all of a sudden, he just
got a
here's the recipe, and we've got all of this. I'm going to make them. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It turned out good. I mean, the whole plate's almost gone. So
yeah, him and Joe were making churros, and I'm over there eating
Here's the
pizza pockets.
Weird thing. So I just took the oil out and threw it in the fire pit because I'm like, just get rid of it real quick. And the dogs keep going out there and trying to eat it, which I'm sure will be a disaster if they did consume any. They're trying to lick the ashes to get the oil.
Yes, I'm like, so we're going to have a sooty laxative just in time for that to hit when we go to bed.
Not to mention they're tromping in this soft, squishy ash
and we've had
pile. So
but we were fortunate, even though we got 5 inches of snow. And it all melted. We hadn't gotten rain in about a week or two, so it literally the ground is just sucking it up. So it's not even a muddy mess like I thought that it would be, but it's kind of cold, Nikki.
Oh, Newbie Stetters, hello.
Hello, Newbie Stetters.
Oh, let's see, Bummer Steve. I had to hold her as she went to sleep, and it's tough, but she was trying to buy love, and she can't suffer. That's the price you pay for the love, to let them go, but it hurts. It definitely hurts, but I'm glad she was able to be comforted. I know our dog Ashley held her, and then Yvette also was really compassionate.
I've shadowed that vet.
Yeah,
when I was young, he knew her from a puppy, and
then
he walked in she was always super spunky, and even though we brought her there every year, she always wanted to kill him, bite him.
She was just that way. She was very protective.
Yeah, she was super protective, and he walked in and she didn't even like that, and I was like, wow, this dog usually hates when I walk into her room. So, but I'm glad that you have that comfort of knowing that you made her comfortable in the last moment.
Emma said churros are so good.
They were really good. Joe really enjoyed putting the sugar and cinnamon on them.
The ash pit reminds me of your dad's joke.
I'm not telling that joke.
It's a definite dad joke. Yeah.
All right, I'll tell the joke.
Yes, do it.
Since you pressured me.
Gotta love this one. This is a definite dad joke.
The joke is how do you catch a bear? He's like, first you go out in the middle of the forest and you dig a hole, and then you fill it with ash. And on the edge of the hole, you're going to place 1 pea. So when the bear comes to take a pea, you kick him in the ash hole.
There you go.
My dad told me that so many times.
Yeah.
He told that joke so many times.
Yeah, my daughter finishes it now before he says it because he still likes to use it a couple times.
Or his was, how long is a Chinese snake and what's his name?
Yeah.
His name is How Long. So.
Yeah, he's got a couple of them.
He's got a whole arsenal.
Darren said we got 2 inches of snow so far, but doing great. Well, Darren, we beat you.
Yeah, we beat you.
We had about 4, I think, this morning.
Yeah, so last night.
But it's melted already.
Yeah, it's gone, which is great. Yeah. And I swear I'm watching the grass, even though it's kind of cold, I can see the grass grow as it's soaking up the water. But it started snowing last night right before bed, and Willow, of course, even it follows us on Facebook. Willow is one of our Nigerian dwarf goats, and she kidded today, which you're not familiar with the term kidded. It means that she had baby goats.
Yep.
So I was up every 2 hours.
But
in the snow
she had 2 bucks, so she was disappointed. They're healthy, and they're
very healthy.
Actually,
they're huge. They're very large babies.
But they were bucks.
And of course, I invested in a really nice breeding buck last year, so I really want doe. And I have 6 bucks on the ground.
Well, we still have a lot more to kids, so
yeah, we still have 7 more.
May the odds forever be in our favor.
Well, the odds are not my favor right now. Joe would be so proud of you for quoting Hunger Games.
That's funny though. Darren said he got 2 inches. I'm like, that's probably the only time we can say that we beat
you.
Yeah.
Hey, where did we get Homestead?
He's probably 4 inches is nothing.
Yeah. Although he did have really nice pictures of spring, popping up all over the place around their little farm.
Margie liked it.
Yeah, you like that, Margie? You like that?
He always has those that borderline. It sounds like he's gonna say something bad, and it ends up just being ironic.
And then when we got the miniature donkeys, it was everything's just free game. He's like, how are your little A words?
Yeah.
Are they smart A words? Are they dumb A words? Stop. Stop it. We get it. We get it. All the donkey jokes. We get it. He was making himself very
Emma
happy.
sounds like she got snow too, so it was
Did
weird to
you?
see snow on rich green grass.
It really, that's what I said when I
it
came
was
home.
different.
Because I was like, it's just really weird to see that stark blanket of white over like very lush green grass. Or lush, like a lot of our trees are already starting to leaf out, which is, they're way ahead of time.
Yeah.
They really are, so.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you know, they have the leaves already, so they just weight down so bad with all that snow on them.
Yeah, I have a lilac bush that's blooming, but there was snow all over it. Prettiest picture ever. Great B-roll. But I was like having to shake the bush because I'm like, it's going to snap all of the branches.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like you can't get to our front door because that big bush was by the door there.
That's
like
the lilac.
Is that the lilac?
Yeah,
it's like all the way out across the walkway and everything.
It was fragrant, so it was really weird to see snow, but smell like something that you very much associate with spring. So I was like, this is giving me so many weird feels. Winter by sight, but it smells like spring. So yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Karen said, haha, happy you beat us. Well,
yeah,
we'll just take the one win and you can
we
keep
will
the
hand
rest.
that over to you. Because most of the time you're like, I have a thaw or a frost date of the middle of June. So I'm like, we'll take the 4 inches, I guess, in April. But I'm really glad I did not jump the gun.
Yeah.
I haven't even.
Well, she sort of jumped the gun. As you can see here, she's already got stuff started here.
So that's peas and
inside.
lettuce.
Yep.
So those are technically cold hardy. I probably could have put them out and been fine. But they're seedlings still, so I gotta be kind of careful. The lettuce is going crazy, and my peas are just kind of like.
Yeah. What do you have in the buckets out there? You have stuff in
peonies.
Peonies.
Or peonies, however.
We had those covered. We had all the sheets out. We were trying to.
Regionally, however you say peony or peony. Peonies.
Yeah, I think we got most everything you wanted covered.
Yeah, and we've actually had a couple hard frosts last week, so I noticed like some of the leaves on the peonies were already burnt and curled.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you guys, they probably literally couldn't take what we got. So, and you can ask him most of the time, I'm like, let nature take its course. As the flowers go away quicker, they go away quicker. But this year, I'm like, I want my flowers.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's supposed to get in the 60s later this week. I think it said so.
Well, I was thinking,
we'll be back
like,
in good
of course,
shape.
we have a goat that's getting ready to have babies on the one day in April where it was just snowing and stuff. And of course she waited. I got up every 2 hours all night long to go check on her. And the stinking thing waited till I went to work and went into hard labor. So he called and I was like, I'm out of here, guys. I'm going home to be with my goats. My boss was like, what? I'm like, seriously.
It felt weird though, because I was like calling her for updates like every time something happened. But at the same point, I'm like, well,
it freaked me out, but it kind of was great too.
I was like, well, it gives you a timeline, so if something happens, you can sort of get an idea.
I could literally look and be like, he called me at this time. It's been 30 minutes with no.
But she pushed them both out in like 20 minutes.
She
was a pro.
Mom. Like some of our does are just like they're exactly what you want in breeding stock. Great mamas, unassisted births, know exactly.
Especially
what to
her
do.
with her udder. Her udder looked really good.
God.
But of course, we got two bucks.
So. I know. I was like last night. I'm like, Mark, look at the udder on. Which, for those of you who don't know, like we do ADGA, which is American Dairy Goat Association, registered Nigerian North goats, and I'm thinking about showing like within the next week or two.
Yeah, especially with all those shows popping back up.
It's just one of those things like because COVID's gone away and the mask mandate's gone in Indiana, so we're kind of like. It's normal. Softball season is starting next week. Next Friday is the first game. So it feels really, really normal.
Yeah.
It feels super normal. But I don't know. I say that, then we'll go into lockdown like right before fair and I'll lose my mind.
Don't say that. Emma said, I'm a little worried about my peach trees. They drop petals right before the cold snap. Going to drop down to 29 tonight. That's pretty cold. A little freezing. Hopefully they didn't start blooming with the buds.
Mulberries last year.
That's what.
We got no fruit from it, so I really
hit them hard because we didn't get anything.
Nothing.
Said,
nothing. No purple poop from the birds.
Yeah,
all over
it was weird.
Vehicles. That part was nice. The not getting to make mulberries.
Or when you mow and they would fall down my shirt and then I'd take off.
Like stains where they would ride your collar.
Yeah, someone actually get down, honestly, down in my underwear, and I'd be like, whoa, I've got like red, white. A little bit of a health scare. Make sure not to look it up on WebMD because it might become for the worst. Yeah, you are consumed by. You have an alien inside of you. So.
Yeah, flesh-eating bacteria. You're gonna die, or it's gonna fall off.
But yeah, those things get everywhere. I mean, even walking through, like you would have to be careful because like your shoes would pick up the berries, and then
Yeah.
you'd walk somewhere and it
Or
would
like the
stain them.
random bugs that like live on those branches, like when they are in fruit
Oh yeah.
and they fall on you. I don't
All
like
kinds
bugs.
of
Like
beetles.
bugs don't freak me out, but like when a plethora just like lands on you, it's crawling in every direction, you're just like, I freak.
Yeah.
I freak out. I can't do it. I can't
Yeah.
do it. I don't know. So does your peach tree, what kind of peach tree do you have, Sunny? Or Emma? I don't know what's wrong with
You read her name.
I
I
have kidding brain. Like I'm so
She was
sleep
up
deprived.
every couple hours last night.
Which means he was technically kind of up every time.
Yeah.
I try to sleep, but he's a light sleeper.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Which one do you have? You have a peach tree in the chicken coop, right?
I think so, but I'm not sure what it is. It's either a peach or pear.
Oh,
or a plum.
TNS.
Good evening. Is it Shelly?
Yep.
Is
I
it Shelly
bet it
with
is.
us? So what's something you guys all have going on this week? I'm officially done with my first round of kidding, which means I get to sleep now, which is good. I am really bummed out that I didn't get to have like lives with you guys, but they all either waited for me to go to work, put on a poker face where I skipped a check, and that's when they decided to have them, or we're at like 5 a.m. I'm like, I am not going live like this, running disheveled to the barn, because literally like with Sunny, you guys will see this next week, but I was coming out at 5 o'clock in the morning to do my first check in the morning, like where I would normally be awake at 5, and walked out of the garage door and heard like screams. Where I'm like, somebody's having a baby. Like I figured it was Sunny, and then she was like, not being a
she
good
was
mommy
standoffish at first.
But she's a first timer, so she was like, what just came out of me and why did it hurt so bad? So
what did you do to help it?
What?
The milk, you rubbed milk
I did that with the wheat buck.
Yeah.
And I did do that with him too.
Yeah.
And like honestly, after a
it
while,
triggered the mother instinct pretty well.
They smell their milk
it's pretty cool.
on them, so they're like, well, they must have been nursing. So I put some milk on, but I also like she kind of had a little bit of. It's gonna sound gross, so if you get like really queasy about like handling gross things, like plug your ear. But she had like her amniotic fluid was coming out in a sack, and I just busted it on my hands and like rubbed it all over him and put it in front of her.
Yeah.
Because literally, like when he came out, she wanted nothing to do with him, so I was having to like dry him off and get everything out of his mouth and his nose. And then she was just like, she was licking me, like she was trying to lick me and mother me. Where I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I don't need to be mothered. You need to mother this thing. So I just grabbed that sack, busted it, and put it all over him.
We're pretty proud of Josie too, because like he had trouble, honestly, at first getting basically getting on her nipple, and Josie went out there and used her pinky, which was
she's like, well, he was frustrated all day because he's like, this is the loudest kid ever.
Yeah, I was out like several times through the day, even though I work from home, so I was able to slip out.
So like she kidded, and I have to leave at 6:30, so I had from 5 to 6:30 to work with them. Technically, minus the whole trying to get ready for work part. And I was just with them until they were accepted. He had a good bump reflex. He was looking for the udder. I didn't see him get on the teeth. He's like, he's really loud. I'm like, he probably hasn't eaten. So Joe's like, I just put my finger in his mouth and got him to suckle, and then I kind of moved him over to the teat, and I like slid the teat in instead of my finger. I was like,
the benefit of having small, slim fingers.
Well, it's just
I have short, stubby ones.
Like it's just kind of crazy. To see your kid like all of a sudden, like, you're listening.
Think about it and problem solve with it. Yeah. And
she came in and she's like, I also checked for one of those ligaments, and they're softer, but they're still barely there. And sure enough, I went out and checked them. Like, dang girl, you listened. You listened to me when I taught you how to do that, like yesterday. Yeah. She just blew me away. She's really turned into a nice little farmhand.
Yep. Darren said our rabbit just gave birth yesterday. So far, so good. As they and our little chickens aren't in an insulated building. The heat lights seem to be working for the chicks, and the bunnies have blobs of fur.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's
Congrats.
So good. Isn't it so nice having new life on the farm, though? Like, that is an intoxicating feeling, I think.
Yep. Emma said, I have no idea what kind of peach or apple trees we have. They were here before we bought the property.
Oh, well, that's all right. Hey. Heritage started off trees or...
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, they're already foundational, and you can get fruit faster that way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Old Redding said, should set yourself up a hammock in the barn so you can sleep there in between kids. Yeah.
I was really tempted today.
Yeah, but then I can't sleep because if she gets out of bed, I can't.
He's like, I can't sleep if you're not here. I'm like,
just have that reflex. So like she goes out, I wake up, she comes back. and then she goes to sleep, but I stay awake for a little bit, and then the routine
Well, especially
switches.
like last night was cold, so I was barefoot. And I would literally slip my boots on and go trudging through like the snow. And I came back, and I know because like the first thing I did was put my feet like right up to his, and they were ice.
Yeah.
And I know he's like, "Whoa, sorry."
Yeah. Then she ran her hand up under my shirt just to add an effect.
But I didn't think about that.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever. You had cold hands. You knew.
My hands were cold. Deal with it.
Yeah.
I do go right back to sleep though when he doesn't.
Darren said, big weekend plan, going to start butchering our bull, going to be tired again. Oh, that's awesome though.
That's super
that you're
exciting.
taking.
I saw that you did it. So is this the second bull that you're doing? Or did you butcher out like a cow or a heifer that wasn't doing? I can't remember because I know I saw that you were doing butchering already. So
yeah, I remember.
Bull number 2.
That is awesome.
It is really awesome. I keep saying I'm going to go out there and grab a chicken or 2. And
do you know if his bulls get as much meat as like a
Highland? Now you correct me if I'm wrong, Darren, but aren't Highlands known for like the quality of their beef? Except they just take a little longer to mature like Cooney pigs do. I know Cooney pigs meat is supposed to be like the best, but it takes a lot of time for them to mature, and they're not as big as like the regular market animals, so they don't yield as much for the time that you put into them. I could be wrong though.
Emma said I had to fix the coop doors, so I did that yesterday. We still have to put them up and build the chicken door because she's working on that.
Yeah, you're almost done.
Coop, yeah.
I'm sorry I missed your premiere the other day. I can't even remember what I was doing. I came back inside and I was like,
I remember you saying like,
what? Oh, I was doing a hive inspection. That's what it was.
She also said, once that's done, it's time for me to go finish the coop, putting up trim, hardware cloth on the vent holes, and painting.
That's so fun.
That's awesome.
The finish line, when you get that close, you're just like, yay! Because I think about all the free time.
Then she can hang all the artwork up there, like.
Yes. Did you figure out what you're gonna name it, or if that's for your video? That's cool. You keep that to yourself, and we'll watch the video. But I was just curious.
Hope we got Bruce in here.
Hello, Bruce. Hello, Hidden Oaks. Nicole, how are you? How's that little baby doing, little Miss Mia? So cute. So cute.
Darren said, Emma, the vent holes look perfectly spaced on that coop. That makes me satisfied knowing that too.
Well, did you see his pictures of his vents on his greenhouse where he's like the OCD killing? I have done that many times too, Darren, where I'm like, gosh, dirty, why don't I have like any forethought?
Oh, Adam Wilson, welcome to
Hello, Adam. How are you? Yes, it feels like the last year now, doesn't it? It does. How's little Hensley doing?
Oh, Bruce said, I just got a swarm call, but it's 39 degrees. I'll have to get them tomorrow. Yeah. Let them try to bustle up and stay warm.
So you guys are getting like this cold blast too. And how many swarms are you up to? Because I've been watching some of like the bee forums on Facebook, the ones that aren't specific or like region specific for us. And it looks like the further south, like you get like they're like in full swing. Where here I did a quick hive inspection just to put on to give them more room because like they can see their roof. They can see the roof. I'm like they're going to swarm. And it was like the only warm free day I had before this weather came. So I hurried up and gave them something.
Oh, Mama Burton.
Hello, Mama Burton. How are you?
Emma said, gonna put the coop name suggestions up for a vote.
I like Casa de la Mother Cluckers. But that's because that's what I have on my coop.
Let's see. Darren said we killed him a week ago and he's been in our cooler hanging. We already took out the tenderloins and had them for dinner 2 nights already.
That's so nice. So do you let them age then?
That's awesome.
Hello, Ashley.
Yeah, I always heard that helps with the meat.
Yeah.
So
I know sometimes they do that with deer, but like usually when we harvest a deer, they are like moving those things through there as fast as they can because once deer season hits here, a lot of the processors are super busy.
Yep. Willow, Josie can't wait to see you tomorrow too.
She's super excited. She is super excited.
Adam said Hensley is doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, good to see him over the weekend. It looked like he was good and healthy.
Yeah.
So Bruce said this will be my first one this year.
Really? I thought for some reason you guys were already like full swing.
Yeah, I saw the cold streak like reach down to Texas because one of the guys I follow, he was did a quick little clip and he said it was 44 there. I don't know what part of Texas he is in.
See, like we're supposed to kind of be in this trend of like high 30s, mid 50s, and then next week all of a sudden it's going to go to 70s or 80s. So I'm watching my one really crazy busy, doing great hive because I'm like, these guys are going to swarm. But then I got in there. Okay, Bruce, the video is going to come out, but I have hive beetles, so I've already ordered like the hive beetle traps, and the ants were all over. So I put cinnamon around it, which great. We just
ants are terrible already this year. We had some coming in the house too that we had to take care of and spray around the house.
Made me kind of happy for the cold snap because I was hoping it would kill them.
Yeah, it's been annoying.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen hive beetles in the hive, but this is like year number 2 for beekeeping, so I figured that was something I see a lot more. But I went ahead and got like the traps where you put like vegetable oil in them. Mm-hmm. Now, do you do that, Bruce? Because I know you're kind of like hands off and like natural, which I kind of like the approach. But I'm just curious.
We've always had trouble with hive beetles, though. They always seem to sneak in there.
Really? That's the first. They were like
the first ones I had hive beetles.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's the first time we've had them over here. Like enough where I pulled out, because usually don't they hide down like in the comb, and it's kind of hard to see them. These guys were just like moving around like this was their house, which technically it kind of is, but not for long.
It said to Darren, "You're gonna make Rocky Mountain oysters."
Darren, you don't know what Rocky Mountain oysters are? Bull balls. Mm-hmm. Bull balls deep fried.
Or pork.
Or pork balls, yeah.
Yeah, I've had them before. They're chewy.
Ew, you have?
Yeah. My aunt made them.
Oh, that's right.
And she cooked them in Mountain Dew, from what I recall. So they actually had like a citrusy, sweet flavor.
They did do like a pressure cooker of pork with Mountain Dew and Pepsi in it, and it was like, I'm like, this is so hillbilly, but it's so good.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Or Dr. Pepper was it?
No, it was the Mountain Dew that they typically did, and it was neck vertebrae. We had that one time, remember? Mm-hmm. It was the neck vertebrae.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
The meat was really good.
Yeah.
So we have I think we mentioned it before. What?
No, I'm sorry. My buck is breeding a doe outside.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, no, look, because I was hoping she'd already taken. I'm sorry. I was hoping she'd already been covered, but Tiger, come on, just.
So yeah, with Jungle Gyms, I think we mentioned before, it's like an exotic grocery store. They have all that stuff, like you can just go buy, like Rocky Mountain oysters and.
We wanted to do snake, but it was like $150.
Yeah, like some of the stuff's like the exotic stuff's really expensive, but we've tried some different things.
Yeah, like the next black rat snake I see on this.
Alligator, stuff like that. They have all that there.
Yeah.
Darren said, yeah, with our cooler, we can now age our own beef and deer, store the pigs and chickens while working on butchering. And is that like a walk-in cooler then, with all that, I imagine? Because that's a lot of space. We just finished out, actually, one of our deer boxes up, remember?
We did.
The deer she took. So we just finished it up. Cleared out some room in the freezer. Bruce said, I don't do anything for beetles. It's normal to see. I think the traps make them worse. More hiding places.
So?
Uh-oh. You're in for it.
Maybe it'll get better.
We'll let you know the results.
Because so for that one, I've got a super and 2 shallows on it. Mm-hmm. And they were up. I didn't get down into like the brood box, the super at the bottom. I only got into the top one. And like they were already running out of room. I'm like, oh my God, there's like, I just freaked out. It's my 2nd year, so I'm kind of, anything that's new, I'm like, no. So if you don't do anything, and if you don't think it affects the health of your hive, that's my only thing that I worry about. But if you're cool with like letting them go, then maybe I'll just let them go. Yeah. That might make me less stressed.
I almost said keep things family friendly. That never lasts long here.
No, I mean like Joe at a very young age, she'd be like, "What's that goat do?" I'm like, "They're hugging and playing."
Yeah.
You know. She knows what hugging and playing tag is.
Audra's in the house.
Hey, Audra.
Says, I've had Rocky Mountain oysters. I was told they were chicken nuggets. So, but they were very good. Can't complain about being lied to. Was yours chewy though? Mine was like rubbery though. So I don't know.
Yeah. How did they cook them if it was like really good though?
Yeah.
And if things don't taste right or feel right when I eat them, I can't do it. More like if it doesn't feel right. I had calzone boiled, and it was so gross.
Different things, but
it was just very flavorless. Whoever did it just boiled it, and it tasted like pork chop fat. I was like,
I'm okay if like somebody offers you like a bite to try and be like, see if you like this or not. I hate when they give you the whole like plate. You're like, you're gonna eat this, so whether you like it or not.
Yeah, right, newbie stutter. That's what I'm hoping too. And I'm like, wow, now I've got a video diary of like when that happened.
Yeah.
She was supposed to go in cycle this time last week.
Was it Tiger Lily?
Yes.
Yeah, she's been in there a while, so we haven't had good luck with her so far.
I need to do blood testing on those, but.
Oh wow, it's a 6x6 Schoolbot set up.
Yes, he's got a video on it. It's
Oh, I need to
cool.
check it out.
Yes, you will.
I know. We've been so
caught up.
busy.
I
Like
know,
we've been
I
bad
can't.
about like keeping up with YouTube.
Do it
So.
again.
Audra said, mine weren't chewy. If you take the outer membrane off before you cook it, they shouldn't be that chewy. Nice. Bruce said, I tried them once, but the bowl kept kicking at me. They have to come off first, Bruce. I enjoyed that one. That's pretty good.
I'm almost over my cough,
yeah.
but I appreciate the.
Hope he didn't try pouring Mountain Dew on there first, too. Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Oh, Michelle's in here tonight. Good to have you, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle, how are you?
That is funny, Bruce. So, Isaac said there's a book that I got called Mini Goats by Sue Weaver. It talks about all types of mini type goats. Plus, it gives info about feeding them, shelter, fencing, parasites, plus much more. I love it.
You like that? Yeah, I like to have like a good little go-to resource.
Yeah, Ashley's always been big about having books on hand because she always worries too. You know what?
I'm a crap at the fan type of person.
So if you don't have the resources to get to like an internet or whatever, then
or like it's too crazy where I'm like I can't venture in on my horse to town because of people there.
Don't worry about the
like
book,
apocalyptic, where I'm like, no, I want to have it on hand here. I'm a little weird like that.
Yeah, but it pays off. One of the series we just got, and I need to start digging into, but with the weather warming up, I doubt it, is the Foxfire books. We've got a couple of those, and those have like a ton of information, like across the entire spectrum.
They really, and some of it is like old timers information, or like what many people probably consider like old wives' tales, but for some, like back then, like those weren't old wives' tales. Like that's really what they went by, and I'm like, there has to be something to some of those, so I take them like as a grain of salt. But like some of the things you're reading there, I'm like, this is like kind of funny, but like kind of really interesting. So we read like one of them, like kind of off and on, and then I think there's like what 12 books in the series, or 8.
I don't know. I thought it was even more.
It probably is a lot more.
It kept growing, I think. But there's a ton of them. But like even like from building a cabin all the way to butchering hogs to gardening, it's just across the entire spectrum. Like,
it was pretty neat. It was pretty neat.
And the way they write it almost feels like you're talking to that person. They do a good job of just not like making it real dry. They describe things like in a person talking to each other.
I would probably compare it to like your book of Elmer Keith's Hell I Was There.
Yeah.
And like that one, you can tell like he was just a good old boy and sat down and wrote a book and wrote it exactly how he talks. So like by the end of the book, you kind of felt like you knew him personally. And I enjoy books like that.
Like the way he said it was like, hell, I was there. Like it was about his hunting trips.
I was there.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's why the book went. It was about his stories. He was like he wrote for a bunch of publications and he hunted like nonstop. Like
all the time.
And he was a revolver guy. So
yeah, he lived out west and lived very primitively. So like that was just part of his lifestyle. Michelle, I hate when the internet is poopy.
Yeah. Gotta love technology, right? Yeah, we're all excited because we got an email from Tesla saying that the what's it called?
Starlink.
Starlink,
just talking about that old Reddings live.
So we're like fingers crossed. They say we'd be here by like middle to later this year. So fingers crossed. If Elon quit worrying about Dogecoin,
I know, but I love watching that happen on Twitter. You know, he'll tweet about Dogecoin and Dogecoin.
I've had like 15 people asking me in the last 2 weeks about it. Old Redding said, "Do you watch Doomsday Preppers?" Yep. Is that show still on? I caught some of the episodes because we have like some of the older episodes.
Some of them are great, where it's like this makes total sense, and others I'm like, this person
quit laughing. So the one,
what's wrong with
there was like this guy who had a ton of money and like set up all this nice stuff. He was friends with this guy, and he was sort of goofy.
He was very.
And so of course they always go through those scenarios. What happens if this, situation occurs?
Put down the attacker, and like they were yelling at each other like.
Well, the one I'm talking about, he was in like a box. They were in a guard post, and he shot inside the guard post.
Oh,
but he didn't have his barrel outside the window, so it like basically blew out the eardrum.
The guy's ear was right next to like the barrel.
He was so upset with that.
So if you guys know anything about like ported barrels, they have holes on the very end of the barrel so that the rubber cushion, all the pressure goes up to the side, and he was like right next to it.
Yeah, and he couldn't even stand, like it messed him up, like his equilibrium and everything.
That one because like the guy was in tears.
Yeah.
Because he was like yelling at him. He's like, "I'm so sorry. I felt really bad for him," but at the same time, like, dude, firearm safety. You have to be aware at all times.
No.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Isaac said that his book has 11 chapters. Read through them, bud. That way you can get all the experience with the goats, because I'm sure it has a lot of good information.
More soon too, because didn't everybody breed?
Yep. So, yeah, I was looking up there. It says there's like shelter, fencing, parasites, and everything. Yeah. So, especially some of the parasite stuff, it's nice having that detail, because I know Ashley will get on there and try to.
Yeah, but my biggest pet peeve is when someone's like, they're from Angelo. I will deworm them. Like, you will go get a fecal first to know what you are deworming for.
But of course, it's always tough because it's like you feel like you're just like trying to problem solve and eliminate what it could be. You know, it's like
goats are really frustrating because a lot of their illnesses all start with like the same two. This is funny because like there's a video coming out on Friday that's talking exactly about this. The most common symptoms are lethargy, being real lazy, just not feeling like acting like they don't feel well enough to move around, and the runs. And like from there, it could be like 30 different things. So you're just like, what's your Comanche score? What's your temperature? Let's get a fecal done. What's going,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Audra said it makes sense to have information available in books just in case we prepared.
Yeah. I'm afraid like one day Jo will like bring her grandchildren over here and be like, what are these things, Grandma? Like those are books,
Yeah, it's like it wasn't too long ago actually. She went with her parents to a hotel and the phone rang and she started freaking out. I think it was an alarm because it started going off. She didn't know it was like a actual phone because she's always seen cell phones. So.
It was a landline, so like they were ringing for like their like this is your wake up call.
Yeah. Her mom called. She's like, "You will not believe what just happened." We had to calm her down because the actual phone just rang.
She's like, "What is that? Where's that coming from?" It's funny to me, but I can imagine, like, if you weren't familiar with it, that'd probably be horrifying because it's like, what is going on?
She gets your adrenaline in emergency situations. Ashley just goes nuts. Yeah.
I freeze. I don't yell. Well, I do yell
sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes if it like requires immediate action, like I'm like.
Yeah. Usually have to help her through it.
Like there was this one time we were doing fireworks.
Oh God, that one.
And they put the Roman candle in upside down. So like they realized it. Everybody was like hitting the deck, and I was just like, he had to grab me and pull me back because I was not but like 15 feet away from this thing. So. Really
it was like Forrest Gump. Like, come on, Larry, Dan, pull you down, try to get you out of the situation. Yeah, she would just watch it. She was like a moth, like
whenever they come over to my mom's house, like to do anything, it's always fireworks, and it never goes right.
Yeah, they're from like out west, and I guess where they're at, it's more restrictive. Of course, here in Indiana. You start playing with fireworks, I feel like at like age 8, honestly. Yeah, because
right of
as a boy, you're like, I want a firecracker.
Well, then we were talking like, oh yeah, we went to this bonfire. One of our friends made like an underwater bomb, basically. Like he got wax and put like gunpowder in it and put wax around it and then lit it and was throwing it. There were no fish were harmed. He was doing it in a very shallow end of the pond where there were no fish, and was just throwing it in there. And I remember I took Katie, my sister, with me, and I'm like, these guys like. We get a little crazy. Like they were like tennis balls on fire, and we were like throwing them up in the air and like hitting them across the pond. My sister didn't come hang out with us anymore.
Oh, old Redding had saw it. She's like, "Oh yeah, didn't he exploded his eardrums? That was crazy. Didn't he vomit? He did." He was so mad. They're like, "We can't be friends," and he started like crying.
He was like rethinking who he was partnered with for the end of days. Yeah. He was like, "How is this gonna work?"
Isaac said, one Doomsday Preppers episode, a lady tried to learn how to make clothes from her Marima livestock dog and her own hair. Wow, that's getting to an extreme.
But if that's all you have on hand, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'd just go with vegetation or without. Just walk around if it ain't too cold.
But if it's cold.
Yeah. True.
I don't think I can be that comfortable with myself. Just go without. Like, no, I'll wear this dirty tarp. I will wrap it around.
Emma's flexing here. Be right back. Gonna down some tacos real quick. I'm sure they're homemade and wonderful.
I know.
I don't think we even ate dinner. We just ate churros, didn't we?
I ate pizza rolls.
Oh, that's right. You ate some before.
I ate pizza rolls. You guys ate churros. Did you eat something outside of the churros?
I think I had the cow. So she made cowboy chili, which is really good.
Yeah,
like it's one of our favorites. But
It's heavy.
Yeah.
Or your stomach.
But we did it with deer this time. It turned
yeah,
out really
it was
well.
good because deer doesn't have as high of a fat content. So like it actually soaked in the seasons a lot more than beef. Even when I get lean beef, I can just tell there's a big difference like when it comes to grease.
Audra said, it makes me wonder what it's going to be like in the antique shops when I'm 90, like old flip phones and
the
a
Furbies.
Furby.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Those were probably collectible already.
I wanted a Furby so bad growing up. Like, and I remember it was like during the craze, and Mom and Dad went everywhere.
Yeah.
But it would talk in the middle of the night. Nobody would be awake, and he'd I was like, this thing's gotta go.
Yeah,
It freaked me out after a while.
My cousins had a Teletubby that would do that too, like a doll.
Teletubbies are even creepier.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old days. Tamagotchis.
Roman candles don't hurt that bad. We used to play tag with them, bottle rockets too.
Oh my gosh. We played with bottle rockets all the time, but like
yeah, especially we did it at my one friend's house because they always had fireworks. And the one time she was
8 months pregnant. Yeah. I could not move
and one of my friends put it in the arm of the chair next to
I was sitting in like a lawn chair, and he was like, here, we're just going to sit out there. And it was like the cup holder of my lawn chair. And I'm like 8.5 months pregnant trying to hurry up and waddling it out.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what are you doing? So, and we're in the middle of a drought, mind you. So the next one, he puts in a bale of straw.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Why are you so stupid?
We always had something crazy going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he found one. So he worked at a canoe rental, and he found one on the shore that somebody had made. And I mean, it was
big enough to strap two GI Joes to it, like strapped on the both sides of it.
And like we're all sitting there, and he's like, "I found this." He just pulled it out from behind his back. And we're like, "Whoa, what is that?" And then of course the second thing is like, "Where can we light this at?" So we light it, and it's dark out, and you just see it looks like Halley's Comet going across the sky. No lie.
Strobed. Like if you didn't know what it was, you'd probably like.
It landed in the woods and just started strobing in the woods, and like his parents called him and was like, "What is going on back there?" Because
it landed in the woods
they were
strobing
pretty far off, and they could just see the whole woods strobe.
But like no sooner did it land, like his phone rang, and he answered it, and you could hear his face like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Ethan, it's for you."
Yeah,
Ethan was his younger brother. So, yeah, that was a crazy get together.
Oh yeah, that was fun though. We always had good times. Audra said, I took the girls to my papa's house a few years ago, and they played with his rotary dial phone for like an hour. They were so amazed. Then I kept calling it and made them think I was haunted. It was haunted. That is awesome. The worst thing with the rotary dial, though, you dial the wrong number, and then you're like, oh, gotta start over. And it's like, I used to watch Mayberry, was it Andy Griffith show?
Yeah.
Growing up, and it was always funny because like they'd have to talk to the operator first, so they'd always.
It was.
Yeah.
I still can't get over to freaking out over that phone call.
I'll say we taught my neighbors Furby to cuss. We got her in so much trouble. I could see you doing that,
Hoss. I never had enough patience to teach Furbies, like get them to speak like English.
Yeah.
They were still doing like baby.
And he ended up being a teacher after.
Well, that's why he taught the Furby how to cuss. That's who we want the minds of our youth to be with.
That's hilarious, Hoss. What was it? Wasn't one of the Teletubbies that was supposedly like had bad language in like one of its sayings? Remember?
Yeah, I can't remember. If it was like TT or Lala or whatever.
Yeah, there was a big controversy over that. Like it said like one of the, I think it said the B word or something like that. So. Yeah. Audra said, I took Shelby's Barney doll down in the basement and beat it with a stick and left it in the dark. A week later, I kept hearing talking and weird music. It was freaking me out. You were like Sid from Toy Story, and the toy was going to seek revenge. Like,
Audra, that's so mean. Poor Shelby. Do you remember we used to pit them against each other? Like, Yumi and Felicia would get Melissa, Shelby, and my sister to kind of fight amongst one another.
She said she also heard.
We would ag it on.
Here's a Barney song from the basement. I thought it was haunted. Turns out it had rained and Barney was in a puddle shorting out.
Well, at least you know it's not haunted with Barney's spirit anymore. It's just a puddle.
I didn't see it stop snowing. It didn't last long, did it?
No.
So we didn't like her, so it was worth the time it took to teach it.
So it was more like a punishment.
Her in trouble.
That's not very nice, boss.
Yeah, definitely.
So how's your house hunt going, Haas? I know I keep seeing it on Facebook, but
yeah, I think didn't you have like a house you were looking at? I think I saw on Facebook.
Or if you've got a video coming out about it, you don't.
We are still in the throes of truck shopping, so I involved Ashley for like 2 days, and she was like, "I'm done with this."
Well, he'd been in such a terrible, like seriously, I would bring it up, and he would get like so
they are
snappy.
so high right now, like where the price range we're looking at, and then
very inflated.
Yeah.
Very inflated.
And then like you're getting something you're like, hopefully it's not like too old or too high a mileage. Yeah. And then I don't know.
Well,
and
it's
then
the
you start
most we've spent on a vehicle, but it's because like this is a vehicle that we actually have to have one. Now the one that we've got, we finally got the rear window back into it, but now we got to work on the brakes.
Yeah.
And so it's still not roadworthy. Yeah. So I'm like.
But with the cost of them, I'm like, we might as well invest the money to get fixed up. Because honestly, too, we're not easy on our stuff around the farm. So like that one's got dings all over it, scratches.
Bust out the back window.
Yeah, we bust out the back window. Roots. Ashley clipped the mirror on something, busted it.
Oh, I did. I forgot about that and shattered it. I was like, it was either the car or the mirror.
Yeah. So when you look in like the side mirrors while you're backing up, it's all both of them are spider webbed out. So yeah, that thing. It looks like a Mad Max vehicle coming down the road. Nice thing is because our back roads are so narrow, when people see us coming, they pretty much get off in the ditch because they're like, this thing looks like a death trap coming on.
Oh, yeah. But I felt bad because, like, for 2 weeks, I'm like, dude, what is your problem?
She's asking, I'm like, I don't know.
I'd be like, why are you in such a bad mood? He's like, I'm fine. Like, so I'm like, well, I'll help you with the truck. Because he's like, well, I at least want you to be excited when they give you one. I'm like, I don't know much about trucks, so I'm kind of just trusting you. So I'd probably come off as lackadaisical, but like after 2 days, I'm like, screw this. This is stupid. I don't want to do it anymore. I trust you. I trust you, and I'm excited for the next truck.
Yeah, it's been frustrating, and I just don't like dealing with. I guess like trying to negotiate on a deal too. I feel like at the car dealership, you always get like, okay, this is so. Then you get like extra costs added on at the end, and
we've been
trying to watch YouTube videos on how to negotiate. Yeah, but I feel like it'll be a different story when we get there.
Thank God for YouTube.
Yeah. Braxton said, I'm sorry I'm late. Have a new bottle baby goat. Hopefully soon we'll start a YouTube.
That's super exciting. I'm going to have a bottle.
I was going to say, can you share it?
I will share. So, you guys, I talked about Poseidon last week, and if you follow my Facebook, like, you know Poseidon passed away. So Poseidon was like a 10 or 12-year-old buck. 10 or 12. He's more like 12 or 13. Very, very old buck that we bought in hopes of breeding him, but he came very, very sterile and very, very much shooting blanks for like years. So he finally got sick.
Friendly,
he's so friendly. Yeah. Like probably the sweetest buck that I've ever had on our property. Easy to work with. Just very nice.
Just come stand and look at you.
Yeah, he just comes stand next to you. Like he just enjoyed your company. Yeah. And he went down last week, and Friday he passed away. Mm-hmm. But the dilemma now is that I have one buck, and my teaser buck passed away, which was also his friend. So these 3 does that I have in here, which apparently the one's not knocked up yet, I'm like, just conceive. Just conceive and it can be over. And I can't take them out because he's going to need a friend with him. So I found a really, really nice buck up in Hicksville, Ohio. So on Saturday, I'm going to go make a trek to pick up a nice new buck. But the only thing is he's not completely weaned. He's eating grain and hay. But he's getting 2 bottles a day. And I'm like, I can handle 2 bottles. I can handle morning and evening. It's the everything in between all night and all day that kills me with a full-time job. So we're going to go get him. I'm super excited. Yeah. He's got blue eyes too.
Yeah, it was like that. She had narrowed it down to like 2 different bucks. Yes. And I was like on the fence.
One was an hour away from a phenomenal breeder, and the other one was 2.5 hours away from a pretty phenomenal breeder. So the one didn't want to supply me with other pictures. I don't know why, because I'm like, this is kind of your gig.
Big on that. She likes
I'm like, this is kind of your gig, and we're breeding for mammary. And we're breeding specifically for mammary. Like, you can't expect to get that amount of money without showing me the goods. But of course, like, I put a down payment on the one, and then she sent me pictures. I think she knew that I, like, well, I'm not going to buy if I can't see, like, what his dam has. Yeah. So, but the buck that we're getting, his dam has got her superior genetics designation. So she's got her milk star, she's got everything. Yeah. From some very, very nice lines. So I'm happy with them.
Audra said, Sort of funny. Said Katie, your sister, said she was going to turn into a vampire and kill my sister, and then she said, "I'll be the first vampire, and you'll be the first to die."
I remember that.
You guts are crazy. Holy cow, Haas and Ho said, bleep, 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 bite my butt. Play that thing so many times. Oh, I didn't realize it said all that. Like, I remember it saying.
Wow. I like to bite my butt.
Yeah. Like closure there. Bite my butt.
Oh, there Emma is. Come back and rubbing it in.
So
with her
full.
fine
Yeah.
cuisine.
Yeah. Her tacos. Do you have quinoas too? Yeah. So right.
Stop this. Still trying to get over this.
I'm jealous. Our food always looks so good. And I won't lie, like Mexican food, I love. I could probably
eat it all the time.
Yeah. We've got a really good restaurant nearby the house.
Yeah, it is really good.
Haas said it's slow going, but quite the ride. The one yesterday wouldn't work with all needs to be done, even though we loved everything about it. Saw one tonight. We are really excited about scheduling.
Oh, that's good though.
That's awesome. But yeah, you're right. That market is crazy too. I mean, it just seems like everything sort of.
Oh yeah.
I mean, lumber costs. I finally looked and researched a bit, or talked. No, it was your dad that said it. That lumber costs have gone up 86%. He read, and I mean, it makes sense because when we went to buy the lumber for our loft, it's double what it originally was.
When he came home, he's like, "This is how much it costs." I'm like, "You have got to be cracking me! There's no way."
Yeah, she was like looking back at the truck, like, "Who stole the rest of the boards?"
Yeah, I'm like, "Where's the rest of the lumber? We should be able to do the whole thing for that amount of money." But that's fine. Whatever.
Karen said, "I'm back. Had to find this stupid basset."
Did you find him? That's the real question. You're not down a basset. Did you actually find him? Oh my gosh. Yeah, our dogs usually, like, when we're out, they'll like run to the back field and stuff. Yeah. And be total jerks. Or like run randomly.
Although
like,
right now they're obsessed with the burn pit because of the oil in it. So the cooking oil.
Sure, I'll have a fun wake up call tonight. We'll be out looking for baby goats, but may have surprised my bedroom. I don't know. Nope. So we've got, hopefully, Muscovy ducks getting ready to hatch. They take 35 days, and like upon thinking back, I'm really not sure when she started setting like dedicated setting on her nest. So
general ballpark.
I've got a general ballpark, but the second one, I know they'll start hatching like around May 15th because they've got a 35-day incubation period. And then my turkey has set a whole clutch of eggs, sets on them all day, and then gets up at night when the temperature drops and roosts elsewhere, and then comes back in the morning and incubates. I'm like, I don't think this is going to work out. So the next time she gets up, like, I'll probably grab 2 and candle. I feel like she's got some frustration
because our little dog will go in there and steal her 4 eggs. He's like one of those little dinosaurs that steals eggs.
He's an oviraptor.
But
that's smart.
I know. Wanted to find that basset hound, but yeah, he'll come, and as she gets so upset, she'll be out feeding and like, "What do you got?" And then sure enough,
it'll be a turkey egg.
Yeah. Like, thank God he can't get in the duck pen. He'd be eating all their eggs too. I'll tap the chair.
Oh. What was that?
But yeah, it was cool. Our neighbor the other day, their son came down and got some of the Muscovy eggs. And he had built his own homemade incubator and had luck with it. He's hatched a couple
things out of it. But I felt so bad because like I was in the goat barn staring at Willow. She would start having babies while I was there, and like the dogs were just freaking out and like looked out, and like this poor kid is like standing in my driveway outside the truck. Holding money. He's like, I'm here for the eggs, and the dogs are freaking out. I'm like, I promise they're not mean, but like I really wouldn't move because you're like outside of the truck. If it were me, I would have stayed in the truck. I would have brought them to you. But he was like standing there so nice, and like they were just freaking out. So I went and got the duck eggs, and I threw in like an extra one. I'm like, just take them. It's free. You made your own incubator. And you just let my dogs harass you. So I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
But it was super cool, like when little kids get that ingenuity and ambition to do something like that. Because like here I am, I'm super lazy and will pay.
Yeah, we were totally for them. Like
amounts of money.
Hey, here's some eggs. Try them out and see if they work.
Yeah.
We made sure to let them know that.
I'm like they're 35 days. They're not
longer,
normal duck eggs. They don't go for 28. They go for 35. And I felt bad though because like Muscovy duck eggs are supposed to be notoriously hard to hatch in an incubator.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just because of the amount of humidity that's needed.
Yeah.
Some people say it's easy. Some people say it's not. I'm gonna err on the side of it's not.
Yeah. But we got 2 ducks sitting, so hopefully we have some new little ones soon.
Maybe the turkey will surprise us in a month.
Darren said, yep, finally found him. Probably visiting the neighbors or finding dead stuff from manure rolling. Aren't they good at that? Based on the smell right now, he is. Was it sitting?
He was visiting.
Visiting, oh. Yeah. You gotta love when they find something different. And then they come back. Our bigger dog is notorious for doing that. Of course, she's got a thick coat, so like.
And it gets super oily. I can tell because she'll come back and it'll her fur will look really.
She rubs up on her chest, like she does like this nosedive thing and just smears it.
You can see it too. So like if I'm in the backfield walking and she just kind of like slinkers down, I'm like stop because I know she's on something disgusting. Yeah. So like when Poseidon passed away, we had to dig real deep in the back because they're bad for digging them up.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to bury him very, very deep, and I had to drag all kinds of like logs and sticks and put it over because I'm like, I really don't want. It's not so much them that will dig it up; it will be the coyotes that will dig it up, and then they'll enjoy whatever's left, which is usually messes on my carpet and terrible, terrible smells. So
for sure,
yeah. What do you guys got going on for this weekend though? Since I told you guys we're gonna go get the buck.
Going to
You're gonna put the chickens up. I have to do that after this.
Yeah, we always do it after. We take a trip around to the chickens and then the ducks.
And then yesterday it was to the goat barn to make sure.
We got all of our chicks downstairs cheapened, and you've had some issues with the.
I've had splay legs. So like I have one that I used the Band-Aid.
We had like 3, 2.
We had 2. One didn't make it. I don't know what happened to it, but like all of a sudden it couldn't stand up.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't stand up. So I had one with splay leg, and I used the old Band-Aid trick, which worked pretty well. But now that I took it off, I've noticed it started to go back out. So I think I'm gonna upgrade him to vet wrap because I have tons of vet wrap out in the barn, and that way it won't stick to him. Because I really didn't like how it stuck to him or her. It just seemed like I wouldn't like that, and being that small and frail, like I was really trying to be careful about removing the Band-Aid. So vet wrap will definitely be the way to go, but.
Mm-hmm.
I also noticed he's got like curled toe, and now he's.
Oh God.
I know. I'm like, I told Mark, I'm like, I'm just gonna name this thing Penguin because he like waddles around kind of upright, but I will still get like a splay. He gets to the food and the water, and he's very lively. But I'm just like, this will make you super susceptible to predators, and it just makes me feel bad looking at him. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the vet wrap.
And what you say you thought was like. Because we use that.
It's got to be humid. So, like they said, it could be a humidity issue or crowded incubators. And these guys all popped within like 12 hours. It was a mosh pit in our incubator. So I'm pretty sure that's probably what did it. He probably was like on the losing end of like crowding, even though like I didn't wait the full 24 hours. Like I came in, I'm like, there's so many in here. I cannot wait the full 24 hours.
Looked like a club.
Yeah, and whatever was kind of like still wet, like I left in there. Especially because like when you're incubating, if you have a couple chicks that are pretty lively and running around, like it's like they almost encourage the chicks that are in the process of pipping and zipping their eggs. So I just left them in there, and it seemed like it did just fine. But
yeah.
But I need to redo his I need to redo it with vet wrap because it was fine, and I took it off, and it wasn't fine. So they're in wood chips. So like I don't know. I'm like it's not the surface. He has plenty of traction.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things like I was Dr. Ashley last week, and just kind of not fun.
Along with all the other tasks we're working on, so. Oh, Adrian's back. Yeah. She said she just got home. Yep, we're still hanging
here.
on. Yeah,
we're still here.
There's still people listening.
Yeah.
So. And
hey, Cody, how are you?
Yep, you're
late
fine.
to the party, but that's cool.
We're still rolling, so.
I'm really sorry I couldn't go get that Muscovy duck. It was so tempting.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So tempting, but I cannot justify that far of a drive unless there's a goat involved.
Ashley was really serious about thinking about it.
I was like, would it be
more
terrible?
Maybe like, no.
And he was like, we're driving 5 hours round trip for a goat on Saturday. He's like, we're not driving any further than that. I'm like, Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So
I have to break it down.
Yeah.
Be the bearer of bad news sometimes. So.
Kidding season is going really well, Cody.
Yep.
It is going really so.
Although the bucks are dominating so far.
6 bucks and 2 does.
Yeah.
Out of 4 does. So
yeah.
We had 1 kid, 2 kid twins, 1 kid had quads, but 1 was stillborn. You just tell like she didn't develop all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 1 had a single yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yesterday. So that's the first 4. The next group is of 5. So I have a group of 5 and then a group of 2. And then if these ones in the pen right now get knocked up, I'll have a group of 3 like in August. But apparently the 1 didn't stick because there's some action going on out there tonight.
And the coloring's been pretty impressive this year. Like we've got a good mix.
They've been really mixed. Tiana's are the ones that always are so colorful. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed a lot of them are golds or reds. Golds or reds. I think I might have gotten a chamois today. Mm-hmm. But if so, he's like a chocolate, which is very weird because I'm like, Mommy's not chocolate. Daddy has chamois. I'm like, where's the chocolate coming from? So I don't.
And some blue eyes mixed in there, which makes her happy.
Yes, and my new buck has blue eyes, which that shouldn't be factored into buying, but it surely did kind of put like a cherry on the top of his genetics. So.
She always gets happy when they have the blue eyes.
I was like, yay, I won't be confined to just like the 1 or 2 does that I have that have blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But it is going really well, Cody. Thanks for asking.
Darren said, so try the chicken. The chicks have hatched seem to encourage the other.
Yeah.
Yep, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Especially in that when they're all clustered together.
Yeah.
And I feel like once they hear the peeping, like they know that, hey, I got somebody gonna hatch soon. They'll like sit and
although I did have one that kind of pipped and it got rolled down, and I guess the moisture from the other chicks got onto the paper. And then when I opened to take them up, it kind of shrink wrapped it to the paper towel, and that egg ended up like expiring. That made me feel that I kind of felt like I sucked at that moment because I'm like, crap. But like it was too full. I couldn't leave all of them in there.
Good luck overall with our egg.
Really, we have, especially for it being like our first time incubating. The second time, I just feel like I had trouble with keeping humidity where I wanted it to, and I don't know why. I think that's why I struggled with
because it was the winter too. It was drier. So.
Yeah.
Cody said, "I'll tell the duck to fly east. Yeah, give them a map. Send them down to Liberty. We'll take it home for them."
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that Ross's goose flew your way. So our Ross's goose took off. Yeah, it was so weird. We just like walked out. We were all put our ducks up.
Live last Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have filmed it, but I was gonna fly
It was weird because like I'm sort of trying to walk him back to the duck house. He just like honked real quick and was just like gone. Yeah. I asked him, said, what happened? I was like, well, I guess the goose is gone.
I saw him fly, and I'm like, did that really just happen? Yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, did he just go over there? He's like, no, he gone.
I feel shafty, just like took off without saying bye.
But that was the whole point too. Like, I'm really glad he did go on and do like goose things, but I would have liked for him to stick around or her. I don't know. The males didn't really harass it to mate.
Yeah.
But they also didn't fight with it like they were worried it was going to mate something else. I don't know. I was kind of waiting for them to tell me, but 2 different species.
Cody said, I feel you on a buck heavy year.
God, it sucks.
We have one too.
It sucks.
It's like we have our doe years we're happy to break 50-50, but when it's a buck year, man, it's like 80% are bucks.
The 1 year we only had 12 kids, 11 of them were bucks. So
Paragon Ranches.
Hello, Christy, how are you? We are doing just dandy. We finished our first group of kidding. Now we're just waiting for the next group next week, which means I get to
pushing the thumbs up button.
Thank you,
so
lady.
thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. That's so very sweet of you. But yeah, we've had a buck heavy, and it figures because like I invested last year on a new breeding buck. Of course, like, could you show me your lines through female children? Female kids, like I'm not really interested in another buck. I figure that's just kind of how.
Yeah, we got the new one coming in, like Ashley said this weekend, because our current buck now he's bred about everything on our farm, so
he has.
We're gonna have to get some new bloodlines in quick.
Yeah, he's gonna have. He could probably rebreed all the does that he bred this year, but like, and while line breeding is accepted within some groups of dairy goats, I really am hesitant unless I have like a stellar animal where it just made sense to go back and really push those genes that we're expressing like above par.
Yeah, I'm always sketchy on that.
Yeah, because you're in rolling the dice. You're either going to express all of the really good genetics, or you're going to express all of the terrible ones. So, I mean, I have to be pretty hard up to roll that dice.
And sometimes you already have hard enough kidney years, so it feels like sometimes you're
so far, like this
pushing
year,
that. Yeah.
We've had healthy births, except for the one that was stillborn.
But the other three came
The
out
other three
fine,
have just been like super healthy. The two that we had today, they're big.
Yeah.
Big for Nigerian dwarf goats, and she kidded them out like a pro. I was super happy about that.
You didn't go up here and find those turkey eggs, did you?
I'm sure you did.
Nasty frozen thing. Now with the snow.
Yeah, she left them out in the snow and then got home this morning. I'm like,
I don't think it works.
I feel like you needed to be on them last.
Yeah. I feel bad for her though, because like the last group she had, like the birds came, the hawks came and were picking them off. Yeah.
And she like really hated, like it would stress her out for me to cage her. So I'm like, well, maybe you'll be fine.
No.
The hawks here are just really bad.
It doesn't help. Like we're in an open field, so like they can see,
Well, we have 2 or 3 different types of hawks, so it's not just like one red tail. Like we have Sharpshine and Coopers, and you throw in the Ospreys and the bald eagles. It's like there's and that's not even counting in the nocturnal predators that we have that are of the avian descent. We have lots of owls. It's crazy.
Adrian said, I met a sweet little doggo today picking up a baby tree from a friend. Aww. And she said, I got my mulberry tree.
You did? That's so cool.
Awesome.
That is so cool.
Hopefully it's fruitful for you.
I want it to be.
Definitely try the mulberry jam. Yeah. That is good stuff.
It's good. So. I know like some people are like, it's fine, but like it's pretty good.
Yep.
At least I put enough sugar in it to make it good.
It helps. They have a unique taste though. They really do.
Oh, they do.
Darren says, when you say buck heavy year, how does that affect things? So like male or female cows, they will be harvested most of the time. Are you trying to have more females for breeding?
Yes, pretty much. And like males, and I found especially, I didn't really have this problem when I was breeding meat goats, but for some reason dairy goats, the males like know what they're supposed to do in their lot in life if they still have their ornaments. And they will become
Nigerians mature really quick. On top of that,
they are the quickest maturing, almost out of all of the breeds.
Yeah.
So like the males figure it out really fast, and while like the females, the baby girls don't come into heat until they're 4 months old. Still at 4 months, like being bred could kill them. So, and not to mention like they don't care if it's their mom, so they'll try to rebreed their mother. And they also don't want to be weaned, so they're like breaking through fences, but they already know their job. So they usually end up having to leave really quickly, or we have to start the weathering process. I try to wait 12 weeks, but sometimes it is 8 because it's like this thing is going to breed every doe that comes into heat.
Plus they're dairy breed, so it's not like a thing you really look at harvesting. So the does for us are definitely more desirable.
For breeding. They bring in more money. I can make a lot more of my money back.
And plus, she likes having the option of, if you have several does, she gets to pick.
I can keep some.
Yeah.
I can keep. I can.
So she likes the variety of color to look at and what
like
line they came from. So
males, I usually won't keep. And even though, like I said, line breeding is acceptable, especially between father and daughter. Son and mother isn't terrible, but it's more frowned upon than the father and daughters. Siblings are a big no-no. Never siblings. Never, never, never.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to accidentally.
And then like Willow, the one that had her 2 kids today, like her udder looks great. Like we were really hoping to get a deal from her.
Amazing. So,
we're like, we definitely want to keep this in our lineage. And of course she had 2 bucks. And they're cool colors too, like she said.
They are super pretty, so I'm like, that will help me sell.
Yeah.
The thing with like the buck heavy though, you never get as much money out of bucks unless like you have amazing performance lines.
And really, they're more of a dairy breed, so they're not. So you sort of lose the meat.
Yeah, I'm hoping to show. I'm really apprehensive. I don't like people.
I got Britton Farm Homestead.
Hello, Britton Farms. How are you?
She likes you, so that's all right.
Yeah, I like you guys. People overwhelm me though, like face to face, and I'm one of those people. I'm like, the whole time.
Said I'd love to get goats meat most likely, but I wonder how reindeer would do in Indiana.
Well,
there's actually a reindeer farm not too far from here. Yeah.
What is Whitetail Acres has the reindeer? don't they?
Yeah, and there's that one in Harrison, right? Was it reindeer or caribou?
There's one in Harrison, and then I know Dr. Cole has them, takes care of them in Michigan.
Yeah. But the one that's near us towards Cincinnati, the guy, I think, had some type of disease, and they
the shed antlers.
They would grind it up and use it to make some type of medicine that helped him. And like he was interested in so much, he ended up getting reindeer.
Yeah.
And he had probably about 20 something.
A lot of them.
Yeah, he had a big old herd that would.
Yeah. I'd say they probably do well. I mean, they shed their winter fur just like regular deer do.
Yeah.
So I would assume they'd probably be okay.
Yeah, I think they would survive. I mean, he's always had good luck with them. It was. Cody said reindeer would be great, Haas. So there you go, Haas. At your new house, you get some reindeer.
Yes.
And goats.
That'd be super cool. Yeah, together. They're both ruminants.
Let's see. Adrian said might be a while. It's like a little quick. They grow pretty quick, honestly.
Yeah, we've had somewhere. We've been here for what? Like
we're actually
11
clearing
years?
out some because they actually will start to
like crazy,
compete against themselves and almost choke each other out.
Or you come and you'll find that they're real grow out and diagonal, reaching for sun.
Because they don't get as tall as some of the trees we have, especially the locusts we have here, and they crowd them out and they'll reach out. Like our driveway, it keeps getting like pushed further to one side as we drive because
we never want to get rid of them or trim them because I'm like, I want
this year's finally, we're like.
Last year I'm like, go for it.
Yeah. So, Cody said, I need a mulberry tree farm. Instead, mulberry pie.
Yes.
There we go. We haven't made mulberry pie yet.
We will.
We need to.
Made a lot of blackberry cobbler last year, which I never filmed. I don't know why I didn't do that.
Adrian said, I've never had a mulberry. So.
It's good. They're good. They're not as tart as blackberries.
No. Or sweet. Yeah. They're just sort of, honestly, pretty bland.
Yeah.
But they're nice. They have a little bit of flavor.
Yeah. They adapt with that, the sugar when you put them in with jams. Like it just really, it does a good job.
Yeah. One cool thing about mulberries too is that's what silkworms eat. The leaves of them only.
Yeah.
So like for silkworm farms, they have mulberry trees because I guess that's the only tree they'll eat from what I read. So I don't know if we ever had silkworms, but then we could actually sustain ourselves and build
if we had silkworms,
silk clothing. Yeah. Remember when silk shirts were a thing? I remember having a couple, and like I had some silk shirts. Yes, I did, and I was wearing them. And it's weird because they were like sort of flowy, and like light, but they felt amazing.
When did you have these? Did I know you?
No, it was before you met me.
That's really sad. I wish I had
my Fabio face. Right into a silk shirt. That's the next Christmas card. I'll be in a silk shirt riding some little mini donkey. Yeah. Look at that guy. Adrian said, I'm going to go look at beehive entrances. You're coming with me.
All right.
Awesome. Well, good luck.
You're looking good.
Hopefully you don't have as many hive beetles and ants as ours did. I'm glad Ashley checked.
I got in Tuesday finally and was like,
I was cleaning up some brush and she's like, it's not good.
But he could hear me because I was filming and I was screaming. I'm like, no, what is this crap?
This is less eventful than the last time. Last time she was trying to do a hive inspection. I had my niece with me. I decided to take the drone.
Flying a drone.
I flew into the tree above her and scared her.
It scared the goats. Fell in the goat pen. The goats ran up against the fence, and I was like, I have like a huge super in my hands. I'm like,
that didn't go so well. I'm like, watch, it'll fly by Ashley. Like flew up into the tree.
Yeah, it scared the hell out of Ashley. Ashley did not appreciate it.
You always gotta watch yourself when you're around me. I'm dangerous. I'm like Tim Allen from Tool Time. That's what I would say. It's like Home Improvement here. Throwing a tree through the back window of the truck is definitely.
He came out. He's like, my day just got so good.
Got a new one in. I'm good. Yeah. Then I go to try to cut it out and cut my finger real bad.
Yeah, that was like I came out and he's like, I cut myself. And I'm like, okay, like it's a scratch. No blood pouring.
Yeah, don't cut my knuckle off. It healed though, so.
I'm good. Care of it. It was really good.
Yeah.
See, that was surprised because usually we're just like rub some dirt on it and go.
Cody said they're great straps to tree. Yeah, well, when we're picking them, we'll eat them, and of course our hands will just turn purple on our clothing. But one thing you have to almost fight off the birds. The birds love them too. Like they'll eat them.
Oh yeah.
Like no other.
The purple pit all over the cars when the mulberries do come in.
Yep. The cool thing is like we kept a big cove of them, up near the front where we're clearing out, and we're going to put the pig pen, so the pigs will actually be able to root through them, you know. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. The goats like them too.
Yeah. Adrian said, I haven't checked in too long. I'm betting 3
4 are
or
good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping 4 are good. That's what I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed for you.
Yeah.
Paragon Ridge said, I've never done line breeding or breed back, but my Matty is amazing. He's a blue-eyed try and it's really small, very desirable. Just worried about it. I'm not sure what to do either.
Yeah.
So you were talking about it can be a little.
It really is like a toss-up, and like breeding Nigerian
I
horse.
understand though if you have like really good bloodline or lineage,
if you have
want to try
like
to keep it.
well, and like some people will tell you, like especially if you're breeding for performance, like there is value in all of the lines on those papers having your farm name in front of it, which means like you had lines that you felt were good enough that you retained and bred back. I don't think it's good to do too much of it. And I do know like on ADGA genetics, like if you've got registered animals, you can go and look at their papers and they will tell you if there's been line breeding. And it'll show you which animals it was and like the percentage, how close they were.
Yeah.
Because I've gone in and looked before because I thought it was super interesting.
I remember Joseph said reindeer are really expensive.
I've heard that. I have heard that.
Here's interesting. Darren says, anyone know if pinning goats are good for something other than entertainment? So I heard the purpose of them.
It's dark.
Yeah, was
Grim.
they would put them in with sheep, like which is definitely a prey animal, and if
Coyotes,
a predator
wolves,
came
whatever.
in, those goats would faint and be left behind,
That would be
and the
what was
predators
taken
would
in
focus
for
on
sheep.
them.
I've also heard that within like nice
I don't know
herds,
if
like
it's really
breeding
true, but
stock.
I've heard it several times.
Yeah, I mean it's true, especially like people that have good breeding stock of most animals, and they're like, I don't want the
Like I
predator.
said, it's dark, so it's definitely not entertainment.
And they are technically meat because that freezing and the tensing of
Their
their
muscles
muscle makes them a great meat animal.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what we've heard the purpose of them for. Weren't they were like bred? I think they had inbreeding to sort of develop that gene.
There was line breeding to develop it, but that's what we're saying. Like when you line breed, you're tossing up a coin. I mean, honestly, like some of the miniature animals you see nowadays are results of inbreeding, over inbreeding. It makes them smaller, smaller.
Audra said there was a farm outside Lebanon, Ohio that had bison running around.
I've never seen them. I love Lebanon, Ohio for like their horse fest, their Christmas horse-drawn carriage festival. They like light them up at night and stuff. It's super cool.
Emma's up here. She said, I do better with people than Matt. He's an introvert and can't handle too much people.
I can handle, but like at the end of it, like I'm like, I can't do it.
It takes some time to recover.
I do.
Cody said, aren't mulberries considered invasive in India? I may be wrong. They are. Yeah, like our property is definitely.
Yeah, it's like the whole, all the fence lines.
And they'll try to choke each other out.
Yeah, so they choke each other out. But then they're also competing with the very invasive honeysuckle as well. So it's a cluster. Yeah. And you're throwing grapevine. You're just like.
It's like a wall of invasive.
Which is fine if you want privacy, but like we're clearing for potential hogs in the years to come. So it is a nightmare trying to cut it all back.
Adrian said, "Are they seedy like blackberry?"
Yes, they are.
I don't think the seeds are quite as bad.
They're not as bad.
With the little stems.
Yeah, the stems are in there, but they are seedy. Their seeds are smaller though.
The stems you always had to pick out. Remember, they were a pain.
We get nail clippers and like clean ones, not freshly used.
Yeah, my 10 nail freshly used. Toe jam. Get it?
Oh my god! Okay. Oh, it's so funny.
Hey, I wanted credit for that one.
I was reading it on some dad joke.
Paragon said, my mini goats ate my mulberry from last year down to just a straight twig. So, yeah, they love mulberry. There was one in the buck pen, and if it grows low, well, it's still there. But remember, if it grew low enough, they for some reason the locusts, like you were saying, are gone. Like they peel the bark off the.
It's the locust. They don't do that to like the oak or the maple. There might be something specifically in
the
locust or the mulberry. You're right. It's usually just locust trees that they strip the bark off.
But when the branches hung down, they would definitely, running around. The goat ligament checker.
She did a really good job checking goat ligaments for me the other day. I was like, man, you were dead on with that.
Cody said when my son was 3, I let him eat some mulberries, mini mulberries, made himself sick. That of the year. Yeah, you can definitely.
You can. Or give yourself some runs. all the citric acid.
Yep. Audra said you all need to add some tiny jars of homemade mulberry jam in your merch shop.
This is true. I'm hoping to do that like with some honey.
Yep.
Because like the one is killing it with honey already.
Yeah. And the mulberry jam, she did sell it to some friends and family when
I
she made like a huge batch. I don't know, you remember? Like,
I made 3 or 4 huge batches of it, but I sold it like that. It made me think I was making
Paragon
something
Ridge said silk shirts were a thing back then. Yeah, they were. Sadly.
Marky knows. Yeah.
Adrian, the 3 hives are flying, but one is in a shade. Didn't see anything flying, but I smushed my ear to the hive. And there's bees buzzing inside. There you go.
I'm glad to hear that. The one I thought was going to die.
They don't have hive beetles there either.
You don't have hive beetles there?
Why?
Is it because it's so arid or what? Because like I opened it up and just like in the top frames of like my bigger, more robust hives, they were just like chilling out. I'm like, what the actual is going on here? Like freaked me out real bad.
Darren said we think we lost 1 hive out of 2 this year. Well, at least 1 hung around.
Yeah.
We had some rough beginnings with our first hive. So
yeah, we were ecstatic.
Getting 1 through the year, that's a good sign.
We really thought that we were going to lose 1 because I had to treat them for varroa mites so late. But like I got into them on Tuesday and I'm like, these guys are not going to be that productive. And they were at their ceiling. So I had to add shallows to both of my hives.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure the one I'll have to watch when it hits 80 next Tuesday, like I'll probably have to be watching it because I'm pretty sure they're still going to try to swarm on me because I waited too late.
Adrian said there's types of mulberries are less not invasive. Yeah, there's a couple different species.
Yeah.
I know the ones here
are
invasive. Yeah, they're not native like I don't think around this area.
There are some.
And there's some that are white.
White mulberries.
Yeah.
We don't have white mulberries.
Mm-mm. I think those are the less invasive ones, but
the
ones we have here are definitely invasive because we've got them popping up everywhere. If you were closer, we'd dig you up some because we have tons.
We'd dig you up some.
Yeah. It's weird though, like our neighbors really don't have them though. Like the land next door, it's all honeysuckle and like locust over there. Locusts are pretty invasive too.
This property used to be a cornfield, so like they kind of just let the fence lines go crazy, and that's just kind of what took over and thrived.
Okay, he said my last property had mulberry trees. They would take over my pond edges if I didn't remove.
Yeah,
they love the water.
Blackberry bushes like up on some of these field edges where we technically should have between like the honeysuckle and the mulberry. It just strangles them out. We have other portions like back in the back that is just all blackberry, all raspberry.
Buy some mulberry jam. We'll have to send them some.
Well, if you still have the duck, we'll do
as long as we don't do have a late frost, because that's what hit us
last year. We didn't get any of them. That was so.
And we could get a bucket. I mean, we could just pick all day and get buckets full. We got so many. So Adrian said, I hate the seedy raspberries and blackberries. Makes me not want to eat them. So I hope it's different.
Yeah. You can get like, I think I have one. It's a de-seeder, like a strainer for the seeds. But I mean, with the mulberries, it's not very good because they have smaller seeds. So. Yeah. But I think there's a strainer specifically for them.
Yeah. I don't feel like I taste them as much. Like you said, they're smaller.
No.
I feel like they're not as bad as like blackberries and raspberries.
I might liken them unto like how a poppy seed feels when you eat it.
Emma said, I'm thinking of getting a mulberry tree. I'm allergic to the pollen. Oh, really? But I think it's no different than any other pollen.
Whoa. Are we buffering, guys? Because it kind of like froze for a second, went black, and then buffered.
Maybe.
Uh-oh.
We freeze up. Looks like it's still
Give it a second. There it goes.
Good.
It's catching up.
But yeah, they have like really pretty flowers in the spring, and then they berry up. So.
Okay, it's going. I just held my hand like this for a really long time.
You were buffering internally.
I'm always buffering. Ask anybody at work.
But yeah, they're cool.
They are super cool. I really enjoy having them.
Pleasantly surprised when we found out we had them all over, and of course named our channel after it, our farm. So
it was his idea.
It worked.
Good Lord.
Adrian said it's so dry here, and they don't love it. The hive beetles.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I just was worried because, like, they said hive beetles sometimes are hard to see because they like to get down in the comb, and these guys are just like chilling. They're like running all over the place.
Just it's harder to keep bees in water areas. I don't know. I haven't had any issues. many have had, but I think it's also that they don't deal with pesticides at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Indiana, that's pretty prevalent with all the farm.
All the farm, like the guy does the.
Next
They do
door
my
people.
helicopter and plane. He just did his spray. We don't have. I think we've got a just for it.
And then we had Duke
don't get
Energy
blown
come the
over.
other day. She was not happy here.
I felt bad because I kind of bit his head off. I'm like, well, when are they spraying? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, I need to know like at least a day or two ahead of time so I can cover the bees.
Yeah.
And he's like, electricity, bees. I feel like they're not gonna. I'm like, it's important to me.
They told us they let us know, so I'm thinking that we'll find out.
I don't think so, Cody. We've only had one skunk on our property that I know of that I saw.
That's right, we did have that one, didn't we?
Yeah, it was during a party, of course. We had people over, and like the dog was acting psychotic by the truck, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's a skunk!"
That's weird. It was out during the day, and then just like wandering around.
Yeah,
Remember, it wasn't.
It just kind of was.
Word had distemper.
A little odd, but we actually just had a raccoon this year that the raccoon was walking in the middle of the day.
It came in our garage while I was yelling at.
I know. I was like, "Hey, get out of here!" And it looked at me and just kind of like drunk and stumbled to me. And I went in the house. So I'm like, something.
I always think they look like Otis off of the Andy Griffith Show, like the town drunk.
But then it felt so bad. It like wandered into my flower garden and just like got caught in a corner. Like couldn't figure out how to get out of it. Like we dispatched it because it was obviously sick.
Sad. I mean, it even looked thin. Like the coons around here are usually pretty healthy.
Well, distemper can be very contagious for dogs. So I was
to
like,
say something. Ashley tried to straddle one. She just followed me with the truck the other day. Tried to straddle one with my car. Totally took out the bottom of the front grill. What was I trying to straddle? I was like, yeah, it's like freeze. Wait a second. Like, oh, say I'm getting there. But yeah, she's like, I totally clocked that thing because I saw it and I swerved around it, which I didn't need to. It's a truck, but I hate hitting things. So I tried to swerve it, it ran towards it. Yeah. It just like didn't get. I'm like. And of course, it's a giant one. Like it got hit a couple times. Like of course, it's right down the road from us by a car. Yeah, so like you could tell, like it was big enough, even flattened out, but cars were still hitting it. Like, yeah. So I was like, oh great.
It like busted the little grate under his car, and there's fur.
Hence why we don't want to try to invest nice money in a nice truck because
well, then we were driving.
I swear a deer will run out the next week.
Well, we went truck shopping on Saturday, so like we were driving back, and there's this one place.
TN 141.
Hello, TN 141 Homestead. How are you? I'm gonna tell this story where I jumped our car. But we just got back from like truck shopping, and it didn't go well. I wasn't in a very good mood, and we were going over like this railroad track, and I just started dying laughing. He's like, "What is your problem?" I'm like, do you remember that one time when I was driving back from the movie theaters with my kid, my sister, and
she has to be
car?
Specific though, because she has quite a few driving incidents.
I do have adventures. I have adventures. I'm an excitable person, and I was talking to them, and I didn't realize how fast I was going, and we were like on the railroad tracks, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I was in the back seat, didn't have my seatbelt. I actually hit the roof.
You hit the roof.
Yeah.
You should have had your seatbelt on, sir.
I don't know. Especially with you driving. I thought maybe I need to get out of the car quickly.
Like, why did you brag? I'm like, I was talking, I just didn't see it. She's like, you didn't see it. And I'm like, yeah. We went to the airport in my Kia Soul.
One of the few reasons we can't have a nice.
Yeah, that's what he's like. This is why I don't want to spend too much on a new truck.
No, we're always using things for work, so they always get dinged up. They always get.
Or there's a goat poop in it, or pee in it, or dogs in it. It's like.
Like Ashley always like, we'll see a nice truck that's cleaned up and like.
I'm like, I want that.
Yeah. But then she's like, I wonder if they've ever hauled hay or had a goat in the back seat.
Like their tires are black, still black.
Our Kia Soul has had more goats in it than probably a lot of people's trucks. At one point, how many did you have in there? Remember you went and got the...
So I had our boar goats bred. Anybody knows anything about goats? Boar goats are
looked
big.
Like the hamsters off the Kia commercial. No lie.
6. I had 6 adult boar goats in my Kia Soul. Like one was like driving with his head right here. I swear I had people almost wrecking that could see like we'd slow down and like people were.
Should have had some like club music playing there. Like, it was crazy. I honestly pretty sure the Kia looked like it had been lowered.
I took a picture of it at a stop sign because like there were 2 goats like on each side.
I don't think it was built to do that, hon.
It wasn't built to do that though.
We should let Kia know though.
Oh, goodness.
Use that as advertising.
Well,
Paul's
it's good
goats.
seeing you too, Chrissy. Have fun finishing dinner. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's this? Not telling him my back was hurting so bad, but it is close to not quite healed. Just like, oh, sorry to hear that.
That does make it
Adrian.
hard to kind of get prone while you're doing anything
I
artistic.
feel like also like this time of year with the weather changes, I know my back's always like achy. So she said I can walk, so that's great, but it hurts after a long while. I had a
What did they? I missed your live last week, so maybe you talked about it. But did they figure out what was wrong with your back, my dear?
Oh, is it like?
Yeah, because you had pictures of like the waiting room and stuff, didn't you? Because it had a really sweet fireplace in it. Maybe I wasn't that live. I don't know.
Oh, just said skunks get rabies pretty easily. Possums hardly. Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
We don't have any possum issues here. I think we've only had to dispatch one because it was like actively trying.
Yeah, I remember skunks. Them talking about them possibly getting it because in 4-H we had to do the pseudo-rabies test and stuff for our hogs, and they were saying because critters like skunks and raccoons can like nip them, and if they have rabies, it can be passed on.
Yeah.
So we always had to have testing because it is sometimes in the area.
It's a lot like by the time they're starting to show symptoms, it's way
too late. Yeah. And they don't want that, of course, at the
late.
fair. So I had mod pizza, Dutch Bros coffee, and went to Ulta for the first time ever.
Did you like Ulta? I've been
been
there once or twice, but I'm just that's like not my deal.
She doesn't worry with me.
I want to, but I'm lazy.
She spends too much time with animals. Those come first.
The lady I went and got a pedicure. She's like, "Are we not doing your hands?" I'm like, "You don't know where I live." Like that will last like all of one day. It won't last.
Emma was saying, I was wondering where that was going. As she was straddling a raccoon and Emma.
Like, what are you talking about?
I said that just means you need to make the meanest looking brush guard. No,
it's a Ford Focus. It would look so hillbilly.
But if we got a truck with a brush guard, I'm fearful that Ash should get road rage.
I would use it
because she gets worked up when people are idiots on the road.
You're the and I'm afraid to beep though. I
just
will
beep
not
to them. Hey,
no.
But I know with the brush guard, you'd probably be like, okay,
just give it a nudge.
Let me help you. You're having trouble. Yeah, those upside work well. Yeah, Ash always gets embarrassed when I beat. I'm like, hey, just let them know. Hey, usually it's like a nice beep. I do the little like, oh. Like
you're very mean in the car. You're like,
God, when I went to India, that horn probably has more use than anything else on the car. I'm surprised that they don't have to replace them every 50,000 miles because I've never heard so many horns in my life.
Yeah, but you sent me a picture. It was a cluster.
I got her on the phone and she could just hear them in the background nonstop. Yeah. But their roads are crowded.
And the one he's like, well, we're going by an elephant. What?
Yeah, he's like that's what we need. See, we don't need a truck. We need an elephant because they were using it the whole things there. So, T-Han said we get big skunks here too.
We just got like the one. And the only reason like we had an issue with it is because the dog found it. I'm like, the dog will harass it and then it will spray him and it will become our problem.
Oh, they were talking. Cody and Adrian said the body temp too low for possums. Yeah, I didn't know the exact reason, but I heard it a couple of times. I read it somewhere that they can't get that, and I always hear how many ticks they can eat.
Yeah,
that's always like the two.
But they're really good. But like, I know some people get really upset when you tell us, "Hey, that you're going to dispatch an animal," but like literally, like relocating is horrific for an animal that is territorial. Usually, that's why like when we catch them, it's like, I'm not going to put you in a new area where you'll literally starve to death because you're competing with other territorial animals that you don't know where the food sources are or the water sources are.
Adrian said boars are huge. Hence why one reason we switched.
And they all had horns.
They were so destructive. I mean, like we had cattle panels and they bowed them out. No lie, like 2 feet off of where the center line was originally. They knocked. Dilly at one point just started knocking boards off of our stalls.
Yeah, for like no reason.
I mean, they had
was
2.5-inch screws. It was 3-inch screws we put in.
I came in the barn and she was out, and I'm like, "You hoss, where did you get out at?" And she just rammed the board to get out.
And they can jump too, even though they're huge. We've seen that too. So, okay, I want to see a pic of the boars in this. It's out there. There's evidence. Picture didn't happen.
I'm pretty sure it's on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
I will share it. I will find it tonight and I will share it.
That'll be the channel pic. How about that? You'll do that.
Because it's my sweet, sweet Bojangles that is in the picture. Because she was always so sweet.
Oh, the house was talking about a Jacob's goat. Would you ever own one? Or is that a sheep in order if it's the latter?
It's a sheep, and I would because of the crazy horns.
I think you knew because you're like,
Crazy
I don't
horns.
like sheep.
I don't like sheep at
Just
all.
don't. Okay.
It's just, and I can't say it's because I've owned them and I dislike them. I've worked with them and I didn't like the way that they were. But I mean, if Joe wanted to do sheep like market lambs for fair, I would totally let her do that.
Said I hated getting feed with Wendy's car. Yeah, we're in the same boat. Sometimes, like, if we have to make a quick feed run, she'll get it in the sole, and once in a while in the focus.
Like the one.
What?
I'm sorry. The last time I went to get feed in the sole, and I needed to get like 10 bags. 10 bags of feed. And I pulled up, he's like, you have got to be joking. You're not going to get 10 bags of feed in this. I'm like, we're going to lay down the back seat. I'm like, and I'm getting 2 pails of shavings. And we got it in there.
She come rolling in the driveway, and I heard Lowrider playing in the background.
I just took it real slow because you could tell I was waiting in the car.
I was like, you're going to catch it on the middle of our driveway because we have a hump in the middle. I'm like, you're going to catch it on. She finds a way, though. Don't you?
Yeah. I make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very resilient.
Afraid to see what you're going to do to my truck.
Use it?
Yeah.
I will use it. Put
Use
the 10 bags
it,
of
but
feed
don't abuse it.
in
There
the
you
bed.
go.
Use it, but don't abuse it.
Adrian said no, they didn't do imaging or anything, so no reason, no clue. Oh. There's nothing worse than like you just want an answer and they won't
especially like if you're like us and you finally make yourself go to the doctor because you're like, I can't function. And they're like, well, we really don't know what it is. Like, I almost have to feel like I'm dying to go to the doctor. You better tell me what it is.
She said, also it was overwhelming. I had to ask for help. I just had the urge to try magnetic eyelashes.
Magnetic eyelashes? That sounds very futuristic.
Emma's
very
with you.
Cool.
I don't do makeup either.
I would like to, and sometimes I get really self-conscious, but then I'm like,
maybe when you get fixed up, like if it's
for like, I will do it for him. Like if we're gonna go out and like I want to look nice, sometimes I will do it when we go to church, but those are only 2 occasions that I will do anything.
That's when I fix my beard real nice and make it nice for you.
I'll wear like dresses and stuff. I don't mind wearing. Now I tried the old-fashioned arm skirt last year, and I actually thought that was pretty nice. I liked wearing a skirt around the bottom.
Pimp that focus.
For reals.
Pimp that ride around. God, we used to watch that. That was like, oh, they would do just exotic things to those cars. I'm like, why even waste the money? I should be able to like, well, that's just a crappy car. Why even after that? Yeah. Or the colors they would pick would just be.
I'm just not. I'm a very big like functionality type person. So when I see things, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not going to function at all. Why did they put that money towards that? And we're just like, just let them have their thing.
House said, oh, forget a Ford King Ranch. I want a Dodge Killdozer. Get out of the way, old dude. Burr.
Now, I wouldn't mind running things over with the Dodge because they're pieces of crap.
I told her we can't get a diesel because she would just black smoke. I mean, over around here, of course, everybody tunes them to black smoke. My brother had one, and he would do it to anybody that was walking down the road or biking or whatever.
Or anybody that was acting a little not nice in a convertible top that was down. You're like,
yeah, we did that in a nicer part of town one time, but. I'm like, you would do that to everything.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Anybody that made me upset, I'd be like, you're getting the smoke.
Okay. He had a
but
cop.
You get pulled over for it here. They don't like you doing that.
They had a cop that one time pull him over and wanted to see him black smoke because he's like, man, that thing looks like it could. He had an old Cummins that he had fixed up, and remember he got pulled over and like, he thought he was in trouble.
Like, can you do that? I just want to see how you do it.
He asked for a guy's wheels, and he's like, go ahead and let her rip, and just went down through town.
That's when you know you live in like a hill jack part of the country.
Yeah, because a lot of those cops obviously a lot of the cops around here have those trucks too.
Yeah, or we know them.
Yeah. Grew up on them.
Yeah.
Haas said, I learned tonight Haas is multi-gender.
What? Now.
Gender
is fluid.
No.
I won't get into that conversation.
All right. So Adrian said, I have a friend out there who does Jacobs. They're cool.
They are
they are
neat.
The coolest looking.
They're like the most metal looking sheep around. Like cut all this horns. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, Haas said earlier, he's like, they're the envy of every metal band.
They really are.
You'll always see them on the covers of their album.
Oh, my
friends are on the. We heard that song come on somewhere, and we started singing. Joe's like, what is this? Remember on Gone in 60 Seconds, they play that like before they go to thieving. I love that part. Like, They steal cars.
I like when they steal that Hummer and there's that big snake.
Yeah. Or he starts playing with that Barbie doll. He starts playing Brick House.
Oh,
That was a great movie.
Oh boy.
Oh, Adrian said they asked how much you hurt on a scale of 1 to 10. The first, I didn't know what I went hiking and didn't know I had appendicitis, and 2, I didn't know I had a UTI. So you tell me I'm here.
Oh,
So yeah, definitely a high level if you're in there.
Pretty just miserable.
Oh, Isaac said you have to go feed my bottle baby, then get in the shower, go to bed. See you later, Isaac.
See you later, Isaac.
Take care of that bottle baby goat.
Baby.
I should love bottle baby goats, but just the
with
time.
With a full-time job, I can't.
Yeah.
If I were to be able to work remotely, I would totally be able to do it. I just can't.
So I do makeup for dates and my holiday.
Right?
But yeah, that's
right?
Ashley. Yeah. Same.
But then I look at it like it's alien. I'm like, I'll walk down the aisle every now and then and be like, what is this contraption? What's it used for?
I'll just say, I want to try magnetic eyelashes. The eyeliner is positive charge and the lashes are negative charge.
What?
Or something, right? Is that how it works?
Is that how it works? Because that
makes
is
sense,
pretty
logically.
stinking cool.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense.
Also, Ashley called the doe Haas when she broke through the woods. So.
Oh, that's true. I did call it. Well, she was acting like a hoss.
So now you gotta use it right.
I forgot that I did that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We just call anything a hoss right
It's
here.
a hoss. Whenever
Came from my grandpa. My grandpa would call anything that was just like big and monstrous.
If anything was doing
hoss.
anything crazy, like it's gonna turn so
yeah.
far.
So we use that every time something's breaking, which is often. So
it's
we
like
hear
a
that.
daily occurrence here right now.
Oh, Cody's heading out. Have a
Super
good
fun.
night,
Bye,
Cody.
Cody. Have fun with your new duck.
Yep. Emma said, I grew up where people cruised in lowriders on Sunday nights, complete with hydraulics.
Wow.
And those are
cool.
awesome, especially
That's
hydraulics
really cool.
when they can.
Yeah, they're
make
like.
it, yeah.
I like. You see them, they're like just bouncing.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't think I could ever ride a car that did that
Yeah.
because I feel like I would lose my
Rattle
mind.
your feelings out.
It really would.
Yeah.
It really would.
All right.
Well, guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and sign off. I still need to close
the
up chickens and the ducks, and I want to check on all the baby goats.
And probably cover
One last
plants
time.
again. So
Yeah.
looking outside. It's not snowing, so that's a good sign.
I'm glad men don't wear makeup.
I don't know if you could say that. There might be
That's a good thing.
We say that, but watch, there'll be a new trend now.
Oh my gosh! Oh, you guys are hilarious.
Yeah. And I told Ashley I'm not wearing the short shorts. Like where she works, all the guys there are wearing these super short shorts.
They run around the track. I'm like, something's gonna fall out, boys. Like you need to be careful about. We need some support. So. Okay,
well,
we're leaving.
Yeah. Leaving on that high note.
We're leaving on that high note. So we will see you guys again next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm watching some of the comments roll in with that comment. But we're going to catch you then. You guys make sure that you take care of yourselves. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye, everyone. Have a great night.